I'm sorry.
She just yell at me.
Yeah.
Yes. I came last year. Came back to the bridge and just learned I just.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the May Blytheville Board of Directors meeting. The time is now 6:01 p.m. I do have a quorum established at this time. I will do roll call. Ms. Ivory Lewis, Ms. Palmore, Mr. Johnson, Benita Nichols, Mr. Ricky Jefferson, myself are present. We'll now stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we start our meeting tonight, we often always remember our why. This is the last school board meeting of this year, of the school year. Our students are out of school next week, May the 29th. And I would just like to take a moment as we reflect on our why to thank each and every one of the teachers, staff, for the hard work that they put in this year. It has not gone unnoticed. You're very much so appreciated for all the work that you have done this school year. And we know that as we go, we're only going to grow and get stronger. So from the bottom of my heart, on behalf of the Blytheville School Board, I would like to thank all of our teachers and our staff that play a part in educating and helping cultivate our young students to be great individuals in the Blytheville community. Thank you. We will now go down to our report and presentation. We will follow the agenda as it is printed. And Ms. Blankenship, turn it over to you.
At this meeting, we will hear from Ms. Myra Graham. She's just going to share a little bit more about what she's been working with, and she doesn't have her charting thing this time, so she's going to be a little brief with it.
Yeah, I promise, Ms. Jennifer, I won't talk as long as I did last time, so y'all all relax now. But there was just a whole lot to share about the finances, and it's the new information was coming in from the legislative session ending. So tonight it's going to be a more relaxed class, I'm going to say, as we talk about the finances. And I just want to say, we have been working on contracts, and so that's kind of the theme for tonight, contracts. And I'm going to tell you, there's probably people in this room that wish I wasn't as detailed a person as I am, but that's what's important in a contract. Because whatever you sign, what you're getting, or that's what's going to happen. And so you've got to make sure it's just like you want it when you sign the contract. And that goes for the school, reaching out to the teachers and letting them know the expectations and what the school needs. And then for the teachers too, it protects them. They've got a contract, they've got their position, and you can move forward. And the little details that I like school boards to really hone in on is, so as we make these contracts, filling in the blanks, you have to know how many days they're working. So sometimes you're just saying, well, we hired Sally or Joe, but we've got to know what they're going to do, what their position will be. And mainly it's just teacher, because sometimes I can teach high school English, or I can teach oral communications or speech and drama. There's difference. So you just put teacher, because the superintendent has the right, as long as I'm certified, to put me where the school needs me. And they always work together. Like, how do you feel about teaching this? Well, yeah, I'd like to try it, or I probably wouldn't be good. So it's a little, it's not like a demand. It's more of a conversation, or like, we're in trouble. We really need this subject taught. So what they teach and the number of days, because that really determines that dollar sign, which I'm all about that finance things, that you have to know how many days. And then even on that contract, you need to tell the building that they're in. But another really important piece is that start date. When are you going to start? And in the e-finance software system, they really have, it will say if you're a normal teacher contract under law is 190 days. So kids are here 178. And of course, there's those parent-teacher conferences that kind of makes it go toward 180. And then there's about 10 days that teachers can train, get their room ready, this new RISE reading program the state came out with. We have to learn about, there's just 10 days in there of other. And so if I'm a para going to help in a classroom or in a school, am I going to be here every day the teachers are, or just when the kids are? And am I supposed to come on parent conference? So people have to know. So you put all that in that contract. And then sometimes even they're like, I don't know. I'm like, well, we can look at the contract and see. So we were looking at some of that today, and we didn't have all the blanks filled out. So I'm encouraging and working with everybody, and everybody's working with me. Like, let's put this like on a form that when we hire somebody, we get this information and we get this. We're just kind of streamline that. And then we got to follow through and make sure that it gets there so that contract can be just like the board approved it. And then as you can help out in that, so how many days will this be for this person? How much does the salary schedule say? There's a grid, and for teachers, it comes over to bachelor's plus 12, master's. And then it goes down to 28 years on your salary schedule. Well, when the LEARNS Act came and made the base teacher salary $50,000, it stays the same almost the whole schedule. But down at the bottom, those people that stay and have taught a long time and are experienced, have a lot of education, they get a different amount. So you have to find your spot on that salary schedule. And sometimes I had a teacher come to me one time and say, I was superintendent, and they're like, I think I'm worth more than that. You ought to just give me more than that. We have followed it, and see, the board set that schedule. And I'm real excited about the 51,822 for the base, because that gives all those teachers, and I'm gonna tell you financially, I'm worried about, I hope that health insurance doesn't go up and take some of that. Now, I'm talking about bring home pay. You know what I'm talking about. So I'm so glad y'all did that, because if it goes up a little, then they won't come home negative over last, compared to last year. So those types of things on contract. So we will come at times and say, well, how many days did you mean for them, or and clarify, okay? And so I think there might be a little bit of that tonight. The other thing is contracts with other people. Cliff and I work really well together. He listens to me, even those long ones, but we've worked together well, and he brought me the contract that you'll have next year for IBM and the maintenance and all of that. And we both looked at it together for, I think, an hour. And then he had to go do other things. And so I just took it home with me. This like, I like my Bible and a contract. I'm pretty good. It's weird. But what we saw in there was something I think you guys had raised when you looked at that contract with ABM. They had some startup costs, and it was about $24,000. And I noticed too on the contract that start and stop date means everything. So that contract started, they kind of had a prelim period that you've gone through, but it was going to start July 1 for the year. They were going to take that guaranteed price to January. So I'm like, who do we need to talk to? So he calls up Clark. We talked to him, and we're like, hey, Clark, why is this like 6-7 months? You should guarantee us this price for a year. And I'm kind of thinking, oh my, with tariffs and all these things and just inflation, it could go up a lot. This should be July 1 to June 30. Well, we kind of started in February making a transition from regular maintenance to, I'm like, well, I think it's going to be a good partnership between Blytheville and Cliff and you. So you're going to have to work with us. And that's kind of about how it went. But in the end, they did it. He said, Mr. What do you want me to write down? Well, I want you to write down July 1 to June 30 of 26 and have this 12 months and guarantee us that price. So see how that start and stop date are crucial. Because now I'm not saying they would, but I'm saying they would raise the price in January on that. And we set our budget in schools from June 30, it ends and we start, and then that takes us all the way through to June 30 of next year, July 1 to June 30. So then we talked about it some more, and then we called him back the next day, and I'm like, I've really been looking at these startup costs. So that'll be exciting to not have to pay that $24,000 next year, because we'll have to start again. Well, ma'am, now it says depreciation and amortization is what he said. I said, well, what you got listed here is that you're going to fly people down to get us started. You're going to have people come and work days. But see, we're going to have all that down after a year. So therefore, you might check now, and you'll come now and then, but it's not going to be a whole training program that's going to be costly. And so, I said, I don't know who you have to talk to. I think your boss on some of these emails was Ms. Thompson. So just talk to them. And next day they sent Cliff an email. There won't be any startup costs next year. So those little bitty details, you see what I'm saying? And that even applies to these teacher contracts. So always scrutinize. And then there was a couple things I hoped wouldn't be in that, but in all fairness, we decided they are in it to make money and pay their employees that they're going to have for Blytheville. So contracts, super important. Don't take them lightly at all, every little detail. And so when administrators and superintendents come back to you, like, I need to know this or that. It's not like it's an older day gentleman's agreement that my parents grew up on. Just shake hands, it's going to happen. It's not like that in our litigious society. But we're always working to improve the fiscal health, the financial health of the district. So another piece I just want to add is really about resignations, and we've to develop that pattern. So I'm saying I'm sitting in there with Miss Rhonda Southern, a lot of a little desk in there. So we can't take any money off of anybody's contract until they resign. And you have to approve that resignation. Well, then that resignation needs to come to that office. Because you know what happened at a school I was at? They continued to pay the health insurance of this person because they didn't know they weren't here anymore. We can't do that. So this communication and having in these, Miss Jennifer, I talked about having established patterns of behavior to help us make sure all of that happens. And so it's a lot of details. Sometimes we get tired of details, but that's what helps you save money. And I've got the sheet that you've got, and it looks good. I wish it looked better, you know, because we all like more money, you know, to spend and to do things for kids here and for the teachers and to improve our buildings. We always look. So it's real important that we're careful with all of that. So I'm going to do a quick little lesson on this board report. This number over here is all 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. And that means teacher salaries. Means salaries. And it shows there that for this month, it says at the top, it's period 10 of 25. So period 10 was the prior month. And it says expenditures 518,223. So what I'm telling you is it was $500,000 to pay the employees. That startles my head when I think so deeply about that. And then not good news is that that's not counting the fringe benefits, the FICA, the teacher retirement, those other things that have to be paid on those salaries. I just get really mad at the State Department because they're like, oh, this much on salaries. I'm like, oh yeah, well that you left out the 25% or 22.75, whatever that percentage is exactly, that the school still has to pay, you know, on these employees, which, you know, you want to. So that 1,000 always means salary. And there's different kinds of salaries over here. You know, the Tenaris grant gives money for a salary for someone to run that and workers. And there's a professional development salary fund. You pay someone to come in and train the teachers. There's just a whole lot in there. But if the one's in front of it, it's salary every time. Now you've got some money. They used to call it NSLA, then they called it NSL, and now they call it ESA. And that money is especially for schools to level the playing field. The kids that need tutoring can't afford it, just a lot of things. And we got a lot of money like that when I was Superintendent Truman. But what I'm trying to tell you here is you can pay some salary out of that for tutors. And so that tutoring salary would start with that 1. But now when you spend money in ESSA down here, it'll start with a 2. So this 2,000 are just the regular funds of the school. But they put extra numbers after the 2. So it's pockets of money all the time, you know. So this pocket of money can pay for that. This pocket of money can pay for that. And the frustrating part is, well, I need this right here. And there's money right there and right there. And why can't I get this that's needed for kids? But you have to follow that. And if you don't, that's when the audit comes down terrible on you. So I just wanted to share those thoughts and just teach you about 1,000 and 2,000. So maybe next time there's 3,000. That's the building fund. I would love to talk about that. So thank you for entertaining me. Y'all get A+ on paying attention. I'm just saying. Thank you. I really enjoyed working here.
Thank you. Welcome to help. Thank you so much. Thank you. We'll now move down to our volunteers of the year, Ms. Blytheville.
Ms. Minor, would you join me up here? Our volunteers of the year, I think we only have 2 of them here. The rest could not make it because of other engagements. But I'm gonna let Ms. Minor talk, just mention just a little about how they have helped us throughout the year, this school year, our volunteers of the year.
Thank you all for coming. We're very excited about our volunteers of the year. Each school has chosen a volunteer for their school, and we want them to know that volunteers are an essential part of the school team, and we could not make it without you guys. There are so many people in the community that has volunteered, that has rendered their help, whether they spoke, whether they came in the classroom, or they helped the teachers. They did a lot of things throughout the year, and we want to let them know that we appreciate them and we thank them for all of the assistance that they have offered to the schools this year.
The high school volunteer of the year was Michael Panky. He isn't here, but we're gonna ask Ms. Jackson to come and give his gift, and she can give it to their parental involvement person, and then have them come up. I think he worked with our trap students, and if you've been following the trap students, they did well in their competition just a few months ago. So we appreciate the work that he's done with it. Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Oh, you want her?
No, we don't have to.
The middle school was Ms. Christian Spiller. She stepped out. In the elementary school was Ms. Sade Brooks.
Also, we gave them, for the,
Okay. Thank you so much. And from the primary school, we have Ms. Jessica Parks. In the speaker too.
Ms. Park received her bag last night at our district PTO meeting. We had a ball there last night.
And our district volunteers, Blytheville Community Samaritan Ministries, and we have Miss Cindy Elkins, and is anybody else here with you, Ms. Elkins? Also, and this is yours, and oh, there's two hands. Appreciate you. You probably see Miss Cindy also on the floor at graduation and awards day, taking pictures as well for
For Miss Cindy, she's accepting the award for Samaritan Life Ministry, but I wanted to give her, give a token for, she's always there no matter what. She's everywhere. Not only does she, come to assist us, when we had the food pantry open last year, at the end of the year, Samaritan Life, they helped us. Whenever we ran out of food or whenever we didn't have enough, or even if we had enough, they would continue to give us. They kept giving us. But Miss Cindy, not only did she give us food, did she work, she prayed for us. Every day she would come and pray for me. My dad had a surgery where his leg was amputated this year. And it was very devastating to me. But Miss Cindy, she prayed me through. She prayed me through. She called. Thank her, and I want to give her another award. Thank you so much. Thank y'all.
Congratulations to all of our volunteers of the year. Thank you once again for all your work and service that you provide to the Blytheville School District. Thank you. We'll now move down to Mississippi County, Arkansas EOC. Mrs. Blankenship. Ms. Lewis.
We want to recognize Ms. Carlani Lewis, who presented this idea, I guess, 4 years ago now. So would you all stand? The Mississippi County, Arkansas EOC, we have Ms. Priscilla Johnson, Ms. Lucretia Williams, Ms. Davita Brown, Ms. Beverly Buchanan, Ms. Carolyn Stewart, and Ms. Carlani Lewis. So if you guys will come up and tell us a little bit about what you did, because you have for 4 years done the 8th graders throughout Mississippi County. You did a career fair, career day. And then for the 3rd year, you just did the Blytheville High School Leadership Conference.
Right. Starting in 2022, Ms. Johnson is our director. She put the team together to help Blytheville School District. We started off as, I think it was new to Dr. Perkins coming in. We did surveys. We had a group with the community. We came in and we helped serve that. And then we came in and did 4 years of 8th grade career day. It could not have been successful. We thanking all of our leaders. I get the name and I'm gonna leave somebody off, but our community leaders made it possible for our kids. Then we did 3 years of leadership conference. This year, we can all agree that this was our best ever.
Yes,
This was the best ever that we had, that the kids were more kind of engaged and more feedback. So we truly enjoyed, and we just want to say thank you for even allowing us to come into the district, trusting us to come into the school to do the reason why, our why, because it's most definitely for our kids, to make them be better, to do better. And we hold them to it, and we can't say thank you enough, and we just love every last one of them. And our teachers too, and our, like I said, the community, they fell right on in.
And we thank you for letting us host it. And I think with the 8th graders over the 4 years, every school in the county has participated, maybe except for one school district. But everybody else has been able to send their 8th graders to Chickasaw Arena for that. And so we just thank you and appreciate you guys. And we'll get a picture of you all. Is anybody else out there? Just you
No,
three?
just us three.
Okay. I know you said the grant ran out, so I don't know if y'all.
The grant ran out 2 years ago, but we still been doing it.
And also, we do the scholarships too as
Yes.
well.
Yeah.
But it really started off with us having the idea of ACTs. We were going to go into the high schools and do the educational portions of the ACTs. However, it ended up deriving into, it expanding to the career fair. We wanted to touch the 8th graders, and then it expanded over into doing the leadership conferences. And so even up until now, as this last conference, it is actually filtered over into our everyday lives, because a lot of those students now reach out to us, asking us for assistance and guidance. And so if we do it next year, that's great. But if we don't, we still have that connection in the bond with students.
Okay, we'll now move down to our action items. I will read each action item and ask for further information or discussion on that item. Action item A, approve board minutes. Need any further information or discussion there? Action item B, we received the financial report. Any further information or discussion there? Action item C, approve the wired quote. Have it in your board packet. Do we have any further information or discussion? On
The 60 computers are just because when when we reconfigured the buildings, the rotations have changed for the computers. So, we have to have enough in the carts ready for the kids for August 11th for them to start. In order to do that, I need 60 additional. So, and I'll plan for that for, in the 25-26 budget, it'll just be.
Does that, with our declining enrollment, I imagine we need less computers and less stuff.
Right, we actually counted, there's like no spares. So I have 300 that we bought the first of this year through the remaining ESSER fund, but I need 6 to complete the rotation.
Action item D, approve assurances and GEP statement program under ESSA and IDEA. Further information or discussion there on that action item? Good, those are.
It's something we have to do every year, so we'll sign it.
Action item E, approve CRW consultant E-rate. Part of the packet. Any further information or discussion there?
That's just a renewal from last year. Thank you.
Action item F, approve ETR, quote, education, training, research.
This is the new health curriculum. This will be for all grades, to get a curriculum. They have not had an updated curriculum since 2014. And this will be paid out of the wellness grant that we received this year. And it will be able to last this the same as for the next 5 years. We also purchased printed versions so it can be sustainable even longer if we need it. And then I think everybody will have up to date current.
Action item G, approve salary schedule and stipends 25-26 school year. They're attached. The salary schedules that are there, you'll see the changes in all the positions that are listed that receive a stipend as well.
That's part of the work that Ms. Myra Graham did with us, for every single one and everybody.
Action item H, approve student accident and athletic insurance. Is there a recommendation?
Yes, American Fidelity.
Okay, American Fidelity. That's done every year that we have.
Correct, and this year, I think we'll say almost $10,000 from last year's tax rates.
Good job. At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve action items A through H.
I have one question. The salary schedule. So I know we've received some advice, and consultation as far as attracting candidates. This taken into account that as well. As I know she mentioned Myra Graham weighed in on it, but we had.
We talked about it and those ranges we got from Dr. Miller. Yes, when they did the average, top 5 and everything, yes.
Okay, so that is.
So they have looked at all, yes.
This is a revamp.
Okay, thank you.
Further discussion? Entertain a motion, action items A through H at this time.
Make a motion that we accept action items A through H.
There's been a motion and a second for action items A through H. All in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll now move down to action item I, consider for roofing service, Blytheville Middle School. The quotes are attached. Is there a recommendation at this time for the Blytheville Board of Directors?
Yes, the PSI, performance services.
Performance Services.
Okay. Now, y'all asked me to come, I'm sorry, Mr. Evans, so as y'all asked me to get some more quotes to do some comparison. When I looked at it, I looked at the costs, low risk, and the flexibility. So with the cost, Baldwin is the cheapest. When it comes down to low risk, Verigy and Performance Services are low risk. But compared to Baldwin is high risk. What I mean by that, the other two companies have the no change order. Baldwin does not guarantee a no change order, so that cost could be that, or higher or lower.
So the recommendation for the Blytheville Board of Directors to consider, you have the 3 quotes. Performance services for $329,507, right?
Correct. And with that company as well, they have an allowance. They might not spend it as well, but they have, in case they're running some issues, but we'll get credit back maybe 38,000 roughly. It just depends on severity of the debt.
I'll entertain a motion to accept the recommendation, if no further discussion on action item I. For performance services, TSI to be the contractor.
I've got some questions, Mr. Miller.
Yes, ma'am.
So the Baldwin and Shell is let's just say $160,000. And then it says, I'm just trying to look and see if these are the same scopes of work here. This
Yeah,
PSI appears to be just the Blytheville Middle School, lower rate. And then Baldwin Shells has got some information on the high school as well as elementary.
correct.
So are these quotes comparable? It seems to be 2 different scopes of work.
When I put their RFP out, all that was on there. And they are willing to do the caulking at the high school and the elementary campus as well in their quotes.
PSIs,
No, in Baldwin,
correct, but it's not in PSI.
correct,
And that's the one you want us to accept.
correct.
So what we're gonna do at the high school and the elementary school.
Partner funding hopefully come up pretty soon. Middle school is not, high school is not as bad as the middle school. At the high school, we just have drops, we have companies coming in and repair on, weekly, but with the middle school, water's pouring in. So that would.
So, and I've not examined this,
And I think on material wise, the only thing that's different is I think, layers, I think somebody using the 50, I think is Virgin. Yes, they're using the 50 mil, and I think the companies are 60 mil. That is similar, that they were gonna use material, the membrane for the middle school.
so in regards to this 329 that PSI has proposed, and then the Baldwin Shell, wait, it says on Baldwin Shell, add alternate 1, replace all metal beak deck on middle school roof repair location. Please add 143,756 to the total of the contract.
Mhm.
Is that, are they replacing all the decking in PSI?
Yes,
Are they replacing it with the
But-
same materials?
yeah, so. All companies are saying it depends on, once they tear into it, what needs to be replaced. So that's why I'm recommending PSI, because if they go into it and find something else, that charge would be on them, not on us. But Baldwin, they're not guaranteed a no change order.
So, but really again, I've not examined this entirely, but,
159 and 143.
yeah. What, so it's Baldwin is not actually the cheaper quote in that scenario, is that
Yes,
how
correct.
everything is correct?
Well,
Probably
it will be the cheapest. but not with the contingencies of if there's a change order, that amount would change. And if I understand correctly, you're saying there's a $38,000 built-in flexibility that could be reimbursed to the district from PSI?
Correct, if they don't find any,
So that
Yeah,
would make
make it.
PSI the lowest bid.
And forgive me if you've already said this, on BSI's contract, you said that they were willing to do the work at the high school and the elementary or not?
no, just middle school.
Okay. Is there a reason they didn't want to quote it?
No, what I targeted was just the middle school. When I first put it out, and then when we was talking to Ms. Grams about funds, funds was different. Because first I got a couple of quotes for 600,000, 700,000, so I reached out just for middle school. So Baldwin just wanted to still put it in there because that's what they saw in the RFP.
I got you. Okay.
I think you asked something about the elementary school, that's gonna be the matching contract.
Yeah, we did get awarded matching funds for HVAC on the first cycle, and I believe on the second cycle, we'll probably get approved for roofing on that as well, but that's will be some conversation goes down the road. I think the award is maybe 900-some thousand, it would be 75, 25% match.
When do you expect to find that out? When do you expect to find that out?
For the matching funds, we have been approved May 16th,
Okay,
this past, so
see.
I had to go through some paperwork for the district, and then we're fine, we the steps.
Okay. So there's still some additional steps to do before you're officially approved for the roofing.
But you are approved for that, right?
Correct.
That's for the elementary.
Elementary.
Okay. Well, the work at the hospital seems fairly minor. To recall exiting joints, coaching and flashing, I mean, that seems pretty easy to do. Maybe it's just a suggestion, but, and I realize it's not included in the scope of work, but, you know, if they're gonna be here on site, that seems like something they could knock out in a couple hours. Maybe they could do that while we're doing this.
That's possible, yes.
Okay, I don't have any questions.
Okay, if no further discussion on action item I, there is a motion on the floor to consider PSI for roofing services, Blytheville Middle School. Do I have a motion? To accept the contract for PSI for Blytheville Middle School roofing services.
Make a motion. I make a motion that we, consider, performance services for the roofing at Blytheville.
All right, do I have a second? And there has been a motion.
I have one more question. Would you have, I assume we've gotten some verification, some, I guess reviews of these people's work. These are people that are experienced in the state of Arkansas, replacing school roofs.
They're just, they like, you know, because they were subcontract out, and I know the companies that helped out, I think it's, I can't say the companies, but it's local companies nearby, and they here.
And are they part of the tips tax?
Performance services are, yes.
All right,
There's a motion and second. Further discussion? Okay, all right, entertain a vote at this time. All in favor of accepting performance services for roofing services at Blytheville Middle School, please signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Okay. All right.
We'll cut it close, but if we call them tomorrow, we'll hopefully right in school start. And that's the goal.
it'll be done.
It'll be close.
Action item J, McPherson and Jacobs. Blank sheet. Yes.
I believe the discussion has been had about trying to set up the interviews for next week. I think Mr. Hoare was supposed to reach out to you. Did he reach out to you with some dates?
Yes. So at this time, we have 3 days next week for potential interviews, and this is at the board's discretion. May 27th, May 28th, May 29th. Are 3 candidates that the board would like to move forward with. We can confirm those interviews for next week.
Are we gonna do them all in one day?
They'll be over the 3 days.
We're gonna, so you're not asking us to pick a day, we're gonna do one different days.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
These are in person.
Yes.
At what time?
I'll get if we accept, I will get the time and information. There's also some follow-up feedback with our focus groups and building leaders. As we know, the 29th is our last day of school. So we're gonna try to have them in to meet with some of our community stakeholders and the focus groups and tour some of our campuses within the Blytheville School District. So we will work once we approve to move forward with the interview process tonight. We will work to get that timeline communicated and the times of our interviews communicated to the board, so you'll know.
The two gentlemen that we heard from last time in this applicant pool,
Yes, those two and
an additional,
an additional one.
and was that from the, I guess, the first round of applicants or the continuing position?
The two that were brought are still the two. We had 8 additional applicants apply when we extended it for 2 weeks. There was 1 candidate that was brought. And
That McPherson and Jacobs.
yes,
Well,
we need to go in executive session there.
Does it say that we've got to make a choice between those 3?
It,
I think it is it's possible for us to make. I said,
They gave 2.
but I don't know that was really, we didn't take any action.
yeah, we tabled the action at the last
I
meeting.
understand that.
So
So, okay, I wasn't here for the interview, but were they in person or?
no,
It's online?
we
Okay.
sent the videos. via email.
We've not interviewed.
We haven't
We
interviewed them.
watched a kind of mock interview. They did
Saw the
it's
interview.
Yeah,
But that was it.
yes.
I'm trying to understand the purpose of second interview. I mean,
So what we're doing is saying that we're going to interview the finalists that McPherson and Jacobs has selected. We extended the application to have more of a pool, to get more of a response from candidates that were interested. So we've expanded and added the 1 candidate
out of that 8.
out of that pool
Okay.
to interview. So tonight, we will vote to set up the interviews for next week.
I vote, or I make a motion that we accept the candidates McPherson and Jacobson have proposed for 27th, 28th, and 29th for in-person interviews.
I'll second.
There's been a motion and a second. All in favor of all in favor of moving forward with the interviews of the 3 candidates? Please signify by raising your right hand at this time. Motion carries unanimous at this time. Okay, so we have those, Ms. Blankenship, Ms. Anderson. Can you work with Dr. Williams, the focus groups. I know next week is the last week of school, but it's still to give us a chance to meet the building leaders and for the candidates to tour our schools, being the district. Okay, well now we,
So is that, so from 6 or we know?
yeah, roughly around 6, maybe. We're working to
I
see
think
if
you
we can
might
get
have
a
that.
dinner, informal dinner for about 30 minutes or so, then we'll go to our interviews. And I'll communicate that timeline and the agenda of our interviews for each candidate. So I'll reach out to Dr. Williams and let him know that we have accepted the candidates to move forward to the interviews. We'll now move down to our personnel matters. Is there any need for the Blytheville board to go into executive session at this time? You have the personnel recommendations listed. I will entertain a motion on personnel recommendations A, B, C.
Appointments, where it says 25, 26 year, that's the, what corresponds to the salary schedule?
No, school year.
Just that. There is a request for the Blytheville board to go into executive session at this time. Anyone opposed? Yes. What was hired to executive session? Okay. We are now back in open session. And at this time, I will entertain a motion for employee Charlie Brumley.
I make a motion that employee Charlie Brumley be retroactive to April 14th, 2025 at the daily rate of pay, $93.75.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. All in favor of employee Charlie Brumley retroactive to April 14, 2025, please raise your right hand at this time. Motion carries unanimous. I'll now entertain a motion for employee Pam Fryer.
Make a motion that employee Pam Fryer be approved to work on the time sheet for the amount of $6,380 during the summer.
Do I have a second? There's been a motion and a second. All in favor of employee Pam Fryer be approved to work on time sheets, $6,380 in the summer months, please signify by raising your right hand. Motion carries unanimous. Okay, Ms. Blankenship, is there any other business that should?
Personal.
We already did. We're approved. We did. No. We did. Oh, we did. All right. I'll entertain a motion for personnel recommendations A and B at this time.
Make a motion that we accept personnel matters A and B.
Second. There's been a motion and a second. All in favor of personnel recommendations A and B, please signify by raising your right hand. Motion carries unanimous. Ms. Blankenship, is there any other business to come before the Blytheville Board of Education tonight?
I was just gonna reiterate that May 29th, this is the last day of school for students and parents, June 4th for their teachers and nurses. And then those are extended contract will extend theirs out for the makeup days.
Yes, and also the State Board of Education will have a community meeting May the 29th at 9 a.m. in the Blytheville High School auditorium. This is a follow-up meeting from the State Department employees update to the State Board of Education on May the 8th. There was a recommendation made to be considered, followed by this community meeting, May the 29th. Blytheville School District has responded, has sent a letter back to the State Department of Education and Secretary Oliva, and the board will be present for the meeting on May the 29th. And it is open to the community as well.
What time is that meeting?
9 a.m.
None.
in the morning. Yes. Okay, there's Blytheville High School auditorium. There's no other business coming before the Blytheville Board of Education. This meeting is officially adjourned. Thank you all.